Some of the retailers that we've seen in decline were already in decline because they hadn't innovated. They hadn't looked forward to what the consumer wants.
So I want to introduce you to Kate quickly. Kate, we were hearing there about, quite how difficult it is when you've been working in a job for so long.
Yeah,
some of the guys that we're talking to this morning, 20, 25 years in this job, how do they start to think about what comes next?
I think it's really good to take a deep breath and think, what is it that I want, and see this once you've kind of got that grieving over, which is really important and can take different time for different people, but then take stock and think, what is it that I really want to do? And I was actually talking to some great people out there, ex-Thomas Cook, that are saying, I do this as a hobby and I think I might try and do that as a job now, and really sit back, think about what it is you want. And there are so many opportunities out there. I'm really positive this morning and saying, in fact, I've said to Matthew, come and see me for an hour and we'll chat about what we really could do, because there's some fantastic skills out there.
And Kate, obviously what's resulted now is Jack's Law, which, as Charlie said, many people, you can't put a time on grief, but you can, I suppose, put the onus on employers to be far more compassionate and considerate.
Absolutely.
And care for their workforce.
And I was actually quite surprised when we started talking about it that it wasn't, already there. So actually, as an employer, for me, it was a given. You look after employees when they're having a difficult time.
Do you see some positives?
I definitely. And actually, if you're on LinkedIn, and that's a great social media platform to be on, and to talk about your journey, there's lots of people supporting each other there at the minute and saying, look, this is what I did, and I did get something, and people helping each other. We're trying to do that as well. If you need help, if you need support, if you've got a question, there are lots of people out there that are really supporting each other at the moment.
So what should the rules be? There's different scenarios, aren't there? If you're a small employer with staff on the books, what should you be saying to your staff?
I think, from my opinion, is we have a real strong culture that says we work really hard. However, we recognise that at times that you're genuinely sick and it's better to stay at home. Now, sometimes that can be work from home, so it's about having trust. So, if I've got somebody who is got the norovirus and being sick, they're not going to be able to work from home. They need to take time off. They need to recover. And actually, I don't want that spread in the office. So there's a balance to that. But equally, if you've got a sniffle and a cold and you feel rubbish, I prefer you to try and make the effort come out, because we're a small business. The impact is huge on your colleagues, on the clients, on business. Make the effort and kind of, really crack on, take some cold and flu remedy and get on with it. And we've got that kind of attitude in the office that we do get on with it. Might go home a bit early, might send you home and say, actually, you've come in, but that's a hand of bridge too far, go and get some sleep. You'll be better tomorrow, if you have some rest. I think it's about balance. Unfortunately, there are some people in the world that believe sickness can be an extra holiday entitlement, and I think it's those people that create the discussion and let everybody down.
Joining us now is Kate McCarthy-Booth from McCarthy Recruitment. Kate, are you noticing, in terms of the recruitment side, that those looking for retail jobs are finding a much tougher time of it?
I think it fluctuates. I think there's probably a feeling out there rather than a full reality. I definitely think that people are concerned, if I stay in retail, will that job still exist? But for me, retail jobs are still there. They're just in different places, maybe just not always on the shop floor. I think if you are overqualified for a job, convincing a business that you're going to stay long term is really challenging and difficult. They're worried about taking on somebody who's overskilled. Maybe they won't be as hands-on, and will they then leave us after a year when, when's COVID over or when things get better?
So what is a sensible approach? Ban relationships, don't ban them. Let's speak to Kate McCarthy-Booth, who's from McCarthy Recruitment, which doesn't allow workplace relationships. Kate, is that for the reason, like we heard the first contributor there talking about, when those relationships break down, it's very difficult within the workplace?
Absolutely. And I think, look, we're a smaller business, so there's around about 30 employees and we're all in one unit. And even actually when the relationship's going well, it might not go well on a particular day. Someone has an argument, there can be issues. And we just made a decision over some time that actually that doesn't work for us as an organisation.
You're in Warrington, which is currently a high-risk area. Are you seeing a big increase in numbers of people who are coming to you for help?
Absolutely, and especially in that hospitality and retail sector where specific businesses are struggling or having to close or, hibernate, as the new word is, for a while, because they just can't continue to trade on lower hours and, make ends meet.
And as the furlough scheme ends in October, recruiters warn of a second wave of job losses.
I think it'll get worse before it gets better. I personally feel that it's going to peak because everybody is nervous and you want to survive this. So if we survive it, you can then grow afterwards. So you're going to be risk adverse if you're a good business owner. You're going to want to be here at the end of this.
A lot of transferable skills, but it's about maybe writing CVs, applying for jobs, something that they've not done for a very long time.
Yeah, it's about practical skills as well. You know, it's about knowing how to go and apply for a job, but also not being frightened to go and talk to people and sell what you're doing. So think about how great you are, what things you were really good at, and go and talk about it and, you know, celebrate that as well and be positive. Completely perplexed at how they've negotiated this whole thing, to be honest, as a business person. And in the business world, we all kind of look at each other thinking, it just looks a mess. It's actually quite embarrassing. And you've got to go into a negotiation prepared to walk away. Otherwise, how can you negotiate? And EU doesn't want us to walk away with no deal. So it's in their interest that you said that. Actually, our focus is on change and transformation projects and helping businesses in a consultancy, as well as placing candidates in jobs. So our year is actually about really helping them understand how to do that.
Brexit offers opportunity, doesn't it, in that sense?
It does, and you have to solve a problem and create a solution, and that's what we're all about, sitting down with a client in partnership, saying, what's your issue? Right, let's help you solve that.
If MPs in their heart of hearts absolutely would not let that happen, then you have to be honest about that, don't you? And you have to be honest with voters about that. You have to be honest with businesses about that.
Yes, but it's still on the table, so it's as confusing.
But it's not if no one's going to ever follow it through.
Legally, it's still on the table, but you don't negotiate and show your cards in any negotiation. So what we've managed to do all the way through this process is tell the EU what we're thinking, go in there and say, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're not going to do, and can you negotiate with us? No negotiation's going to go well. Not just that, I think there's a confusion that it's always about minimum wage, and actually there's a lot of skilled labour that we get from the EU that we don't have in this country, that actually we haven't got the infrastructure on apprenticeships, and that should have happened 10 years ago. We're way behind on that.
Yeah, well, that is another subject that comes up frequently here on 5 Live and with the Wake Up to Money team as well.
What's it like out there in terms of the jobs? Are there lots of jobs in hospitality?
Yeah, there's still loads of opportunity, and I think whether you're skilled or unskilled within hospitality, there's a career there, and I think that's not something hospitality have pushed enough, to say come and start with us and actually you can progress and have a great career. And I think the industry itself needs to sell itself better to younger people, to apprentices, get the schemes right and say actually you can have a long-term career in hospitality. There's so much opportunity. This sector's great to work in. So much opportunity for people to change careers, do lots of different things, and really take those transferable skills with them into other sectors and have other careers. But equally, for people that love retail, there's still some fantastic opportunities still in retail.